base a little bit. Check some terminology, where we're at with things. So I want you to take, are you started? I want you to take a sheet of paper, please. And we'll do it like last time. We write down the terms and then we solve it at the end. So the first term that I want is on the skull. And what I'm looking for is a term that's a bump behind the ear. So the temporal bone is a bump behind the ear. What is that bump called? That's number one. A bump behind the ear. That's number one. Hello, come on in. Have a seat. We're just starting with a little quiz to figure out where we're at. So the first term that we're doing, I'm going to write that down, is a bump behind the ear. That's the term number one. The bump behind the ear. We're just starting. Okay, so that's the first term. Bump behind the ear. Then number two, I'm still on the skull, and I'm going to look at the lower jawbone, and on the lower jawbone, I want you to tell me the piece that makes a connection with the temporal bone. So the lower jawbone, what is the part called that goes into the temporal bone and makes a joint? Jawbone. You guys up? You guys, this one. That's number two. The part that makes the joint is the temporal bone. That was number two. Now number three, we're going on to the rib. On the rib, you take a rib, we have a few bumps. We have the first bump that's the end, then a narrower part, and then another bump. What's that other bump called? That second bump on the rib. It's actually this way in the body, that part here. Second bump on the rib. Second bump on the rib. Right here. Yeah, that one. That one. Sticks out. Second bump by the rib. There you go. Good, good. That was number three. Keep track of it. Number four. We're going to the arm. I always have to orient myself where it is. There it is. That's the arm. So when I look at the arm here, I got the scapula on the back, then I go into the arm, I got a few bumps here. I would like for you to tell me the name of the bigger bump that is for muscle attachments. Right here. It's on the outside. The name of the bigger bump on the top part of the humerus. What is that called? Hello. The name of the bigger bump on the top of the humerus. What is that? All right. There we go. Now you don't need that. You need this. There you go. All right, so we got that bump here. That was number four. And then number five is when I move down, the forearm, I have two arm bones here in the forearm. One that goes to the thumb, you remember? That's the one, and then the other one goes to the pinky. On the one that goes to the thumb, I got a bump here, right on top. What is that bump called? Hi, nice to see you. What is that bump called? Right here. Hi there, come on in. Have a seat. That bump right here, what is that called? The bump right here. What is that bump called? Yes, it's right there, that's perfect. That's number 5. On the forearm bone that goes to the thumb. The bump by the forearm bone that goes to the thumb. Well, the bump by the elbow on the forearm bone that goes to the thumb. Actually, I just said the bump is up here by the elbow. These are some tough ones, I'm telling you. You're doing good. You're doing good. We're getting sort of do the repetition parts of it. So we're going a little deeper with it. Then I want you to know there's a bone, it's a part of the bone that's the tip of the elbow. It's also a forearm bone. It's the one that goes to the pinky. But at the elbow level, it has a bump that wraps around the humerus. That's the tip of the elbow. When you go on the elbow, that's the tip you touch. What is that called? The tip of the elbow. The bump at the tip of the elbow. The tip of the elbow bump. Tip of the elbow bump.
Tip of the elbow bump?
Yeah, it's the tip of the elbow. It's on the lower arm bone, though. It's on the one that goes to the pinky. So, but it is that wraps around the humerus, and it forms the tip of the elbow.
Yeah, you just write on a piece of paper.
Tip of the elbow.
So he's just like drinking it things and then you write it down.
Guys got it? Some of those are tough, but you know, the more repetition you have, then you're ready for the test. That's the whole point of it. That was number 6, huh? Number 7, we're going now to the hip. And I like this model here. On the hip here. We got, when we look at the hip like that, we got a nice shallow depression on the side where the femur goes in. Like you can see it on this here. That thing where the femur goes in is what I want. What is that called? Right here, what is that called? That shallow depression? No, it's a deep depression, not a shallow depression. It's a deep depression. Ah, don't say it, but write it down.
Oh.
Or mark it.
Okay.
Yeah. I know, sorry you came in after I said what we're doing, but we're writing terms down and then we solve it afterwards as a group. So that's one term here. So that term on the side of the hip, where the femur goes in, that shallow depression. A deep depression, not shallow, that's what I want here. Alright, that was that, and then we have, sorry, that was 7. That was 7, huh? And then we have number 8, on the leg bone, on the femur. When I look at the femur, I got a femur right here. And I look at the, turn around, look at the back, I got a line that goes up and down on the back of the femur. It's for muscle attachments. What is that line called? Write it down. On the femur, on the thigh bone. Yeah, it's on the femur. It's a landmark. When you look at these terms and I'm testing you for whole bones. Those are the whole bones, like the sacrum or the femur. But then also landmarks mostly on the bones, and that's like this part here. It's a smaller part that we described that's on the bone. So what's that thing called here? That long line in the back of the femur. When you see these kind of things that are roughages or some bone, it's probably muscle attachment, or maybe someplace where a vessel can go through. back of the femur long line. That was number 8. Now number 9, yeah, we started right at 6 o'clock. I know, we were very prompt, but that's okay, it's on video, you can take it and use it as it's a tool to repeat your terms for the test. And the ones I use here, make sure you remember those for sure, right? So number 9 is a bump on the lower leg, on the leg, the main leg bone that carries the weight down. In the front of the knee, we have a bump. It's actually the bump when you kneel on that bump. What is that bump called? The bump on the front of the knee. And it's not the bone, it's the bump. All right? The bump on the front of the knee. Hi, have a seat right here. We have a room right there. The bump in the front of the knee.
Are you asking us a question?
It's to write it down. You write it down, you write the term, and then afterwards we're solving the problem. The bump in the front of the knee. That was number 9. And it's not the bone. Yeah, it's not the bone. Don't do the bone. It's the bump on the leg bone. So that was number 9, and then the last one, and again, if you're coming in late, don't worry about it. It's a video, we put it up, you can look at it. I do recommend looking at those a little bit. I split the videos for the quiz off to the lecture videos, so they're like 10 minutes long or so. So do that at home a couple of times, especially if you missed it. Then the last one, the number 10, I want a muscle on the face that's on the side of the jawbone going up and down. Strong muscle going up and down on the side of the jawbone. What is that called? It's a chewing muscle. It helps you with closing the mouth. Breaking down, chewing that food. Do some mechanical digestion, that will be called later on. There we go, chewing muscle. Strong chewing. So let it bite you, strong. So that was number 10. All right, so now let's figure it out. Anybody got number 1? What was number 1? The bump in the back of the ear. Go for it. Just shout it out. Mastoid process. Very good. Number 2, we had the thing on the mandible that makes the joint. What was that called?
Mandibular condyle.
Mandibular condyle. Very, very good. And again, some of these are tough ones. So, go to the drawing board with those terms afterwards. Make sure the ones that I'm covering in the quiz, you will find them on the paper. Make sure you do those. Make sure you really understand those. So that was mandibular condyle. Then we have the rib. What was that bump on the rib?
Tubercle.
That tubercle on the rib. Very good. That was number 3. And then number 4, we had, we go to the arm. The bump on the outside of the upper arm. What was that called?
Greater tuberosity.
Greater tuberosity or greater tubercle? Some textbooks will say greater tuberosity though.
That's for number 5?
That was number 5. No, 4.
Oh.
Number 5 is on the radius. The radius is the bone that goes into the thumb side. What was that bump you called? Oops. The bump on the forearm bone that goes to the thumb. Radial what? Yes, radial tuberosity. Very, very good. Again, that's actually a muscle attachment for a muscle that brings the palm up, which is going to be your biceps brachii.
Is there a difference between a tubercle and a tuberosity? I know
It should be size. Tuberosity should be bigger than a tubercle.
Okay.
But tubercle, tuberosity, not so sure about that. So they use them. That's all. When you see, this is where the AKAs come in. When you see those differences, you go like, yeah, it's probably the same thing. What was the next one? So we had the radial, and then we go into the elbow, the bump in the back of the forearm bone, the ulna that makes the elbow bump. What is that called? Starts with O. Yeah, olecranon process. Very good, olecranon process. Very good. And then from there we go to the hip. And we're looking at the deep indentation of the hip. Number 7. What was that? The acetabulum. Very good. Excellent work, you guys. Doing a good job. This stuff is like learning some new language. And then the line on the femur. That's the front, that's the back. There's a line on the back. What was that called? The linea aspera. Yes, very nice word. And then the bump in the front of the knee. Tibial tuberosity. Excellent. And then lastly, we have them also on the side of the jaw. The masseter. Very good. All right, you guys, that's good.